The incidents at the 80th session of the Indian History Congress is snowballing into a very big political controversy in Kerala. What has happened in Kannur University was that the governor's speech was stopped by protesting students and academics because the governor was making defensive statements about the central government's policies in Kashmir, central government's recent decision to amend the Citizenship Act, and also the proposed implementation of the National Register of Citizens. Such controversial issues was brought into the speech of the governor, and naturally there was a big protest from the students as well as the academics who were sitting in the venue. That created a huge controversy, and of course there was heated debates between the governor as well as the chairman of the session, Professor Irfan Habib. Irfan even asked governor not to quote Maulana Azam. You can quote Godse, but not Azad. That is what Irfan Habib told the governor. But of course, these are all very heated statements, and of course, that should have been avoided. But right now, after the incident, the governor has asked for an explanation from the Home Department of Kerala about the security lapses that has happened in Kannur University first. He has expressed his displeasure that there was a very huge, very massive lapse on the part of the police department and the Kerala government in ensuring the security of the governor at the university. And he has even asked the chief secretary to meet him personally and give him an explanation about it. It is very clear that the governor is acting to seriously discomfort, to pose serious problems for the government of Kerala, because the charge of security lapses, the charge of a decline in law and order, a crisis in law and order situation, is the weapon the central government has always been using to destabilize a state government. In Kerala, the state government in 1957 itself had to face such an action on the part of the central government. It was the governor B. Ramakrishna Rao who sent a report to the central government that law and order situation has collapsed in Kerala, and so Article 357 can be used to dismiss the state government. The state government was dismissed in 1959. That was the first elected government in the history of Kerala. Ever since, the central government has been using the office of the governor for this kind of political actions against the governments that they do not like, the governments that are opposed to the views of the ruling government at the center. A large number of state governments did face the consequences of this gubernatorial interference in their affairs. In recent years, after the BJP government came into power in 2014, we have seen the governor's actions against the state government destabilizing their activities in Arunachal Pradesh, in Karnataka, in Jharkhand on an earlier occasion, and many other states where the governments run by opposition parties were being destabilized, or the governments which wanted to come into power. Maharashtra, for example, the governor was making very political actions. In Karnataka, governor was acting on political agenda. So this has been going on for a long time. The governors are becoming simple agents of the Home Department at the center, terrorizing the state governments in various ways. So the Kerala government seems to be a target right now, because the government of Kerala has been taking a position on the recent controversial issues like CAA and NRC, opposing the central government, taking a position against the central government. Now, governor is making use of the incident at Kannur University to put pressure on the state government and the chief minister, because he can send a report to the center saying that Even the governor is being attacked. So there is a very clear, specific collapse in the law and order situation in Kerala. The center can intervene. This is a threat being posed against the state government. But on the other hand, we have to understand what actually has happened at Kannur University. At Kannur University, the Indian History Congress was being inaugurated by the governor, but instead of an academic speech, a speech on the various issues facing the historians in the country, the governor was making a speech on the political issues now happening in the country. He was trying to defend the actions of the central government in Kashmir. He was trying to defend the central government on the issue of the amendments in the Citizenship Act. He was also trying to defend the central government on the issue of the proposed National Register of Citizens and such issues. But these are controversial issues where people are agitating. And when a governor in his inaugural speech makes reference to this kind of matters, he knows that it's very natural that he is inviting protest from the audience. So naturally, young students from Aligarh Muslim University, students from Jamia Millia Islamia, students from Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi, and so many other students and academics protested. They said, they raised slogans that the governor should stop this kind of political speech. The chairman of the session, Dr. Irfan Habib, also protested against the kind of speech being made on the session from the podium. It is a natural thing. But why the governor is making such a political statement in such an august body? Because Indian History Congress is a very, very important academic body in India. Like the Indian Science Congress, the Indian History Congress has an history that precedes the independence of the country. It is the 80th session that is happening in Kannur University right now. So this academic organization was started by nationalist historians who opposed the British rule in the country, like Professor Jadunath Sarkar, Professor R.C. Chatterjee, and so many others in an earlier generation, and Professor Thejas also. And in later years, very eminent historians like Dr. Irfan Habib, Dr. Romila Thapa, Professor Biben Chandra, and so many other modern historians have been in the forefront of the Indian History Congress movement. They have defended India as a country. They have defended the values of India as a secular democratic country. And naturally, Indian History Congress has been being attacked by the RSS and its ideologues for their own reasons. One reason is that the Indian History Congress very firmly opposed the ideological position being imposed by the Sangh Parivar on the Babri Masjid issue. On the issue of Babri Masjid, they wanted to present a specious kind of history, a false kind of history, which they opposed. They also opposed the move by the central government to transform Indian Council for Historical Research, ICHR, into a government body, spreading the falsehood of history the Sangh Parivar wanted to spread all over the country. They opposed and they exposed it. That is why the central government and its agencies have been extremely angry with the Indian History Congress, because they are an effective body of historians, professional historians from all over the country, with great respect among the various global universities. That is why the central government and its agents like the governor are attacking it. But why this particular session is being used for defending the central government's actions in recent days, like the Kashmir matter, the NRC matter, the CA matter? The present governor's speech comes immediately after the statement from the Chief of Indian Army, General Rawat, who accused the agitating youngsters of indulging in arson and violence. So it is very clear that all important functionaries of the government, all constitutional authorities of the government, including the governors, including the chief of the Indian Army, are being forced to actually spread the government line on the present controversial issues. It is a clear sign that the central government is facing a very serious nervousness, a situation of nervousness, because they find that the ongoing agitation a very big threat to the government. It is a sign of weakness on the part of the central government that all the important constitutional force authorities are being asked to present the government's case, even where it is not really right, or it's a nice thing to present that kind of a thing, a political statement, to make a political statement in this kind of academic bodies, but that is what is happening. Now we have to really understand why the Indian History Congress had to be conducted in Kerala University, because only recently the Indian History Congress session had been conducted in Kerala. Now, normally it travels from various parts of the country to various universities in the country. Towards the end of the year, every year, the scholars meet in various universities, but in recent years, most of the North Indian universities have been refusing to hold the IHC, Indian History Congress sessions, because these universities are now completely under the control of the Sangha Parivar. The vice chancellors are with the Sangha Parivar, the academic bodies are with the Sangha Parivar, even the student bodies are run by Sangha Parivar supporters. So naturally, they do not want Indian History Congress to have its sessions in the North Indian universities. Very few universities in India are able to conduct it. Only the governments with a secular credential like West Bengal, Kerala, Tripura, these governments are willing to support Indian History Congress. That is why they had to come back to Kerala for the annual session. Very interesting thing is that the RSS has been making very concerted efforts through its historians, through its academics, to take control of the Indian History Congress, which they have resisted in various ways. This has started happening right from the days of Babri Masjid demolition, when the Indian History Congress exposed the RSS falsehood on the issue. Various historians connected with the Indian History Congress said that this is not the history, this is not the truth of the fact. So they conducted surveys, they made campaigns, they did bring out the truth about the dispute. That is why the RSS and its organizations have been attacking. And also the Indian History Congress has been in the forefront of the campaign to defend the Indian Council for Historical Research. There was a very massive project, very important project called Towards Freedom Project. It's a project that aims at collecting all the documents connected with the Indian freedom movement into various volumes, and 2 volumes edited by Dr. Sumit Sarkar of Delhi University, and the second one edited by Dr. K.N. Panikkar of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. These 2 volumes were completely banned. The central government asked the ICHR not to print it at all. Their printing was stopped for a long time. Why did they want that 2 volumes to be suppressed? Because these 2 volumes did contain very damaging documents about the compromising positions of the RSS and its senior leaders in the freedom movement in the country. These volumes did contain certain letters sent by people like Savarkar to the British government asking for leniency. Such documents they wanted to suppress. That is why this particular Towards Freedom project was being attacked. So in such matters, the Indian History Congress has been taking a very firm position, defending academic freedom, defending an objective, truthful and scientific research on academic matters, defending the history of India. That is why Now the Indian History Congress is being attacked. That is why that session is being used by even the governor of Kerala, Arif Muhammad Khan, to spread very false claims about the central government actions. And naturally, the Kannur session is now being converted into a political issue with a very ulterior motive to threaten the state government at a time when the state government is taking a very firm position against the central government on the issues of NRC and the amendment to the citizenship actions and the national population register and such issues. So it's a very clear signal that central government is making the governor's position for its own political gains. That's a very wrong thing to do. Thank you.